All right, NXT, a very interesting NXT. Now, I want to say this because I want to you to have a little bit of context here before I get started, because when you look at this NXT, many people are going to say, "Wow, this is different from NXT." It is different. Yes, it is. And what's been going on with WWE has been interesting. I will not tell you it hasn't. But I am going to tell you that, like I've always said, long-term booking does not mean great booking. And we got a lot of questions in this NXT. Doesn't mean it's all bad. No, I'm not telling you it's bad. It's not bad at all. But I'm not going to tell you it was good either. I'm going to tell you that it's somewhere that you guys will have to make the decisions on. For me personally, I'm just reviewing this. Yes, I'll give my feelings on it. But this is something you're going to have to consider, particularly with the controversy that's going on in the main roster of what's going on with Rock and Roman, or Cody or Roman. Because I'm saying this right now before I even get started. I've heard JD's side, particularly Monday. I've heard Just Alex's side Monday. Just Alex loved the show. JD thought it was okayish, but it wasn't great. And with the controversy that's going on of what is the right thing for the WWE to do, Roman Reigns and Rock, or Roman Reigns and Cody, and hearing just Alex trying splitting hairs. Let's make this clear. I'm not against him. I like him. He's worked his butt off to get where he is today. He's making money doing what he loves. But what he talked about compared to what's going on with JD, it's not going to fly. And him getting pissed off during his well, let me give it to you like this. He basically kicked somebody out of Facebook because they insulted him, which is understandable. Then the friend of that very person was in his chat on YouTube. I don't know if he got kicked out as well. He might have been banned, I think, or at least was told to shut up, because don't mess with me like that. But you can see how pissed off he got because of his point of view, and he backpedaled on that point of view, making it clear in two ways. One, he said, you guys don't even know if Roman and Rock is going to happen when it is obvious everybody thinks it is. Even JD knows, Solomon knows, Just Alex knows. There's a strong possibility this could happen. There will be a match. Will it be at Elimination Chamber? Maybe. Will it be at WrestleMania? Maybe. But him saying you guys don't even know is not the point. The point is that you made your point, but you started getting pissed off that people were telling you it's wrong. And then at one point, him saying, and this is the second one, him clearly saying, look, I don't give a fuck. It could be any time. It could be Elimination Chamber. It could be a WrestleMania. Who gives a shit? As long as the matches happen. He wants a 2-night match. Roman Reigns night 1 with possibly Rock, and Roman Reigns night 2 possibly with Cody. But you exploding like that is going to make people even more angry at you. He kind of acted like CM Punk when he was working AEW. Could have been a little more controlled. And I understand it's very difficult as a YouTuber like myself. If someone pisses me off, it's going to be hard not to lash out and let people know how I feel. Because actually it's happened a couple of times, even for me. I don't usually get mad at anybody, but I let people know my opinion. But with Just Alex and his platform being as big as it is, backpedaling a little bit, and then wanting to have both matches when he could have said that from the beginning and just stuck with it. Because he didn't. He made it clear, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania, he could have said WrestleMania Night 1, Roman Reigns. WrestleMania Night 2, Roman Reigns. WrestleMania Night 1, Cody. WrestleMania Night 2, Rock. He could have just said it like that. I want both matches, and just stuck with it and just said, instead of saying just Rock and Roman. He could have just stuck with, I want both nights with The Rock. That would have been easier, and essentially it's what he said he wanted anyway. But now seeing that the controversy hasn't gone anywhere, it's gotten worse. It's just a lot to take. So this here in NXT, you could say If this if any of this makes any sense, and I hope my audio is working, because I'm now I am get anxious now if the audio is messed up. It never used to as much, but I hope it's working. You guys tell me below if it's not working. But now, if you look at NXT compared to Raw or SmackDown, it is kind of like a respite compared to the main roster and the controversy there. If you guys don't know, that's the way it feels. You'll feel more comfortable in NXT, not because it's better, it's because there's no controversy. Let's start. First match, which wasn't even a match, it was pretty much a brawl, because before the show even started, Akita Alliance and Blair just started beating up on each other. Let's make it clear, by the time they get into the ring, it's just a flat-out brawl. It really wasn't meant to be very long. They were just giving them a few minutes to be on TV, which I think they could have waited until a couple of days from now and built up their story in the back where they kept fighting, and then they would have maybe a steel cage match. But they chose to try and get rid of it quickly, and I do not agree. I just don't agree. If you're going to do a year story, because Akita Alliance was set up to be considered taken out by Davenport, you could have just kept fighting them in the back, demanding matches. They never get it, but then at the next pay-per-view, you finally get them on a steel cage and just let them go at it. I think that would have been better. This is where I don't agree this match had to end so quickly. And with Nikita Alliance, that's my girl. I like Nikita Alliance, not just because she's a curvy woman. She does have something I like. She has a good personality. And compared to most of the women, she's much larger than the other women, because she's not fixed style. She's not. She's a much more larger woman that knows at least a good amount of rudimentary martial arts that she's thrown in. So she feels a lot more developed in some cases, at least with her ring style. Her character needs work. I won't say it is perfect. It's not. It's okay. We know she's a big-ass woman who actually is pretty strong and can do some martial arts to kick you in your head. That's what her character currently is, but it can be more than that, and I think it should be. Comes to Davenport, she's already an all-around pretty good wrestler with good style when she talks. I do like her. And I do believe she's near the point where she's ready to go to the main roster. I'm being honest. Between the two, the only one that's best to go into the main roster is Davenport. I want to make this clear, because I don't want people to think that because I do like Davenport, that I think she should go to the main roster and she'll dominate, because she will not. The way the roster is currently for the women is too damn messy. It is a mess there. It is a big-ass mess with not very good stories. You only got Damage Control. You got only what's going on with Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. Everyone else is just a big-ass mess. And yes, I know you could say something about a wonderful Becky Lynch who got a bloody mouth or a bloody nose. It doesn't matter which one. She's nothing right now because she has no feud. There is no one that she's going to be working with. The only thing she got is a Royal Rumble. Moving on. First match in the Dusty Tag Team Classic. We get... Let me give it to you. Did you guys believe that Gallus was going to beat Braun Breaker and a Baron Corbin? Nope. Now, I did hear, who was it that said it? Vic Joseph. I think he said, what is the name of this team? What are we going to call these badasses? I know what they're going to be called. The Pricks. That's what they should call themselves. If anyone could talk to these guys, I would say, because their characters are so arrogant, so full of themselves, so like they can't be beaten, make them be called the Pricks. I don't know if you can even say that on TV, if it's legally allowed. I would call these two the damn Pricks, because they know they're pricks. They know that they're pain in the asses, that they have attitude towards everybody and even try to outdo each other. They're both pricks. Make them be pricks. Let them be called the Pricks. I'm sorry. I knew they're going to win. It was just obvious. And they did. Next match. Let me give it to you like this. Knowing that this was set up because they're giving Briggs another chance at the Heritage Cup because he did get screwed. And it was a setup through Opie Metza. I'm going to give it to you like this. I don't know what they're going to do, but Briggs has to win now the Heritage Cup because they let him go up against Metza, and with everyone interfering except for Jackson, Miss Jackson, he has to win now. If they let him go up against Nolan Dar again and lose again, it was just a big ass waste breaking him away from Jensen. He has to win the Heritage Cup now. Even if it's a technical win and it gets taken from him later or something, he needs to win it so he'll have some credibility because at this point, no. Next, the tag team title match. The family with Rizzo. I don't remember her name, the first name of her. But seeing that Rizzo is there, I want to see it because they said this woman's a Spitfire. She needs to act like one. I want to see this woman, not just with the women, but do something with a man, pretty much deck him in the face. If they're saying she's that damn tough, she's going to have to be one of the few women there next to, like, maybe a Nikita Lyons, who's physically big enough to go up against a man, even though she lose. I want to see her just give a elbow to the face because Rizzo is supposed to have grown up in an Italian family and has been taught from the ground up. And I met people like that, either Italian once and basically regular white people, which I have no problem with. And what was the other one? It was one family, I believe it was Israeli. And they were tough on the ground up. You're going to have to be a little tough, especially in New York. You can't screw around. Unless you want to go around in high school carrying an Uzi in your locker, which I did know. As weird as it sounds. Little story. And when I was a teenager, I was not the type to cause trouble. I was very shy. But I did know someone who was smaller than me because I was like this. This was like him. He got picked on just like I did. I mean, yeah, I got picked on. Believe me, if I told you some of the stories of what they did to me, you would go, oh my gosh, you're not crazy. I'm not. Much. But this guy got picked on worse than me after saving him from falling into a pond because he did. It was a winter. He fell into a pond, got his pants messed up. He got picked on so much. Eventually, he got sick of it, and he brought a Uzi to school. I said it, an Uzi. In New York, in Manhattan, back in the late 80s, just before the 90s when they started bringing in metal detectors. Actually, that's the reason they brought in a metal detector, because he had an Uzi in his locker. So, if she is that type of person where she's from a tough neighborhood coming with a tough family, I need to see her deck somebody in the face. And it doesn't matter if she's a woman or a man. Hell, she could have done that to Scripps. I wanted to see her deck him in the face. That's what I want. But in the end, you guys know, the family was not going to lose. They weren't. I mean, why would they lose? It made no sense. But seeing after Mud losing, we got Miss Parker. I believe her name is Miss Parker. Yes, I believe she's one of the new people that came in during the breakout tournament. Her name is Miss Parker. And she tried to say, dude, I can't believe you played into that game. Come on, we know better. I'm from the same kind of hood as you. I saw this a mile away. How could you not see this? And in the end, they now are going to start doing something where they're going to have Mud with Miss Parker. If that's her name, Miss Parker. Interesting. We got two new women, and now tag team champs. We got Rizzo, and possibly with Mud and Scripps, Miss Parker, if that's her name. Moving on. GT Golan versus Cora Jade. Now, let's make this clear. Who is more prominent? Is it Gigi or is it Jade? I'm going to tell you it's Jade. Cora Jade is much more profound, much more developed. Is Gigi undeveloped? No, she's actually pretty well developed, but it was always connected to what happened with Mandy Rose and JC James. It just was. And she still is kind of connected to that because she looks like she needs a partner. And that's the problem. Not saying that she can't work the ring, that she can't talk, she doesn't have charisma. She does. But it feels like there's something missing. And it feels like she needs someone to run with. Unfortunately, that's how it looks. Even though I like Gigi, I think she's beautiful. She can go in the ring. She talks decently well. She has charisma, but there is something missing. And if it can't be found, she needs to work with somebody right now. Or throw her to the main roster and just see what happens. Because if she has to work with someone, that's not great for her. But if she can work alone, throw her to the main roster. At this point, she's the best she's going to be. And that's not someone who doesn't like her. Hank and Tank versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Let's make this clear. I like Hank and Tank. But there's no way they were going to win this. They haven't been very prominent. They haven't really done much. The only thing I've seen from Tank is when he lost his tooth. And I can't remember who he lost it. Briggs and Jensen, I think. Not one of them knocked out his tooth. That was the most surprising thing to happen to him. That was kind of spotlighted for a short time and then was gone. But now they move forward. Do I like Axiom with Frazier? Honestly, no. I'm going to be honest here. I like Axiom more than I like Frazier. And it doesn't mean I hate Nathan either. I like Frazier at least enough that he's a good wrestler. Axiom's a very good wrestler. But the problem is they're both singles wrestlers that have been thrown together because of the Dusty Cup. Because they don't have enough teams. You're throwing all the singles that you have into teams and they don't feel like they need to be there. They just don't. And that kind of adds on to it. You got Trick and Mello together. Trick getting told by Mello, hey, I got something set up for us. And he says, what? And we're going to be in the Dusty Classic. I got that set up for us. And he says, I don't want to do that right now. I don't think I should do that right now because I got to stay locked in on Dragunov, who's still out. And you see a little bit of the Trick fading and the metal magic. Let's make this clear. The Carmelo magic of getting his boy to do what he wants happening. And he's trying to make it clear that he's trying to get some of that magic back. He's trying to get some of that glory back because if he wins the tag championships, he'll be a Triple Crown winner in NXT. He wants that more than anything because it's all he got. He can't get the North American title, particularly now. He can't get the world title, so the only thing left is the tag. So he wants to be a Triple Crown champion. And he managed to trick his boy into it, who will be, the two-belt trick. I think that's what he called it, which actually kind of rolls off the tongue. But in the end, Trick gave in to Mello. Now we'll get that next week versus Upi and Blade. Inufi, I believe Inufi and Blade. And then they were with, I can't remember, was that Thea? Thea Hale trying to make him stretch, or that's somebody else look like Thea? Why? Is she trying to get them to join Chase U? Because I think JC James thought the best option we have, which I don't think is supposed to work, is to try and get to become trainers, to start making money for Chase U. Or because they can't get any new students until the debt is settled, because that's what it's in Chase U. But that's what it looks like. They're going to start trying to do some type of group training. So they got those two started. And I think they'll start going to other people. I'm sure JC James is going to go to somebody else. But that's just me. Let's put this in perspective now. Okay. If I was going to put any images in here, it would be of Tiffany Stratton wearing all pink in high heel boots that look like she cannot walk in them if she's not on flat ground. And she looked like she almost tripped and broke her ankle. She got to be careful. At a farm or a horse farm, I believe. All in pink. Wearing a pink top, not furry pink top. She's wearing a pink jacket, wearing pink with, I believe, stars on her bikini, and a pink dress, with a pink hat. I think it was fuzzy. Shoveling manure. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to tell you that this is bad because I'm sorry. Let's make it clear. The actual person, Tiffany, if she has not been raised around horses, she must have gone in there saying, you know, I'm going to try this. I'm going to get dressed up like this. Let's make it look good. Along with Fallon, the actual woman Fallon. And they were there and she must have said, damn, do I really have to do this? Unless she was raised around horses legitimately, which she might have. You never know. In real life, she might have been around horses. This had to be interesting for her to be dressed like that, doing all that mess, and then falling into a trough of water. Because that's what we got. We got her cleaning up behind horses. Well, one horse. Cleaning a horse. Seeing poop on the ground. They clearly make sure that when that horse took a dump, that it was not clean, or worse, took it from one of the stalls and put it behind. It was a white horse, and she was cleaning, trying to scrub that little horsey. I'm not going to tell you it wasn't freaking funny, because it was. And hearing Booker T not be fond of it, because he had to watch the recording, it was interesting. This felt like the comedic part of the show, which I enjoyed. We don't get that on the main roster. The only thing we get whenever it's a comedic thing is in the ring or in the back. You don't get them on location, which I like it on location. And I do have something I want to say about R-Truth. Maybe I will do a Gump report on it, or what the Slug Daddy said. And it's interesting what he said. So I might record it after this. But this is what we got. Lyra Valkyria dealing with Lola Vice. Do I believe Lola is legitimate? No, not yet, because she's still working with Elektra Lopez. As accomplished as a cage fighter as she is, she's still not 100% there when it comes to really working a promo. She just sounded choppy. She may look like this. She's wearing all pink, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be disgusting or anything. Women wearing certain clothes has the tendency to accentuate their body parts. And kind of like what happened with Mandy Rose when she wore a kind of like a cream color one time. You literally could see a ladies area. You could see it. And when you see Lola Vice, you pretty much can definitely see her ladies area. Sometimes it's better you don't wear certain colors knowing what you look like. And mind you, she's trying to be sexualized, which she might have noticed that and went with it. But her promo work just isn't that good. And worse yet, neither is Lyra Valkyria. Let me get to you like this. Lyra is not a bad when she's on the mic. She's not a bad, but she's not a good either. And when you see Lyra here and Elektra here, and you see, no, not Elektra, but Lola here, and the person that's right next to Elektra who can talk them both under the table. Let's make it clear. Lyra's here. Lola is here. But Elektra Lopez is here. She can talk them out of the building, embarrassing them. That's how good of a talker she is. She may not be a great wrestler, but damn it all is she a great manager and can talk her ass off. And she was not talking. Not on the mic anyway. And it just looked bad. And basically when you hear Lyra say, look, you can see that contract you have, it ain't going to help you. But I want to face you. But why don't you tell your girl right there that contract is not for a tag championship? And then she wanted to have her start a match with her. But then what do we get? We get a fight. And then we get Paxton coming out. Miss Mickie James 2.0. Let's make it clear. That's Mickie James 2.0. That is Mickie James with Trish Stratus. That is Mickie James where you see Paxton acting like Mickie James, saying that she is in love with a pretty much a Lyra Valkyria. She already said, you'll never separate us. There's no way you're not doing it. So they went there with her. To be honest, I kind of wish it was the reverse, because I'm not saying Lyra is ugly. She's not. But if you compare beauty, legitimately, if you compare, Paxley is better looking than Lyra Valkyria. But since Lyra is a better wrestler than Paxley, I understand why they went there. It's not like you're going to get the reverse, particularly if Paxley had not been there as long as Lyra and is not as experienced. So this is what we got. It's not perfect, but it is what it is. Hope you guys know. Let's see what else. Let me give it to you like this. The final match. Well, the final two matches of the North American Championship. As you can see the title. The Femi age has begun. Uba Femi is now the North American Champion. Now, did they have to do that to Lexis King? Here's the thing. Lexis has only been there for a few months. And even though he's polished. Look, I've seen him in NXT. I saw him on, I think, once on NWA or MLW. Because he was on the Independents. I think I saw him maybe in, I think I might have saw him once. Either it was MLW when I once saw it, or NWA. I'm not sure. No, he's good. And then when you see him in AEW, he was good, but they didn't do anything with him. Brian Pillman Jr. Are you seriously telling me you did nothing with Brian Pillman Jr.? Such a waste. But now here, he's been there not long enough for them to do anything with yet. So that's why he had to lose. It was a good match for him. I'm not going to say it was bad. And just for context, the reason that we didn't have no Dragon Lee was because his paperwork for his immigration, him to work here, was not complete or had a problem. So that's what the story is. So now you can see you got a Lexis King found a way to get what he wanted, and this is what we got. Now, let's make this very clear. He did a good job, and I didn't expect him to win. Lexis King was not meant to win. It was meant to be a Dragon Lee. But then when I saw how the ending was coming, I'm going like, okay, Dragon Lee won. What now? There you go. I knew something was going to happen. Femi comes out. Uba, not Umi. Uba Femi comes out. Gets in that ring. Not just jobs a little bit, because he did. He did job a little bit. And looked a little bit cringy, just a little bit. But he didn't look too bad. Let's make this clear. Uba Femi looked decently well jobbing. He didn't look great jobbing, but he did look okay. He tried to make it good for Dragon Lee, so he didn't look so bad. Admittedly, when he threw Dragon Lee halfway across the ring, just throwing him, that was ugly. But it looked good. Ugly. In the end, he won. Now, he is the current North American champion. And I got to say this. Someone wanted him. It doesn't matter if it's Triple H. It doesn't matter if it was Vince. And it doesn't matter if it was Ari Emanuel, who owns the company. Somebody wanted him. Even if it was HBK, he thinks he's ready, which I don't think he was. Uba Femi before this was only seen before the tournament once. He looked good, but there was no character. Uba Femi now, he's won, but he has no character. He's just muscle. So he's got to get developed. He was wanted by somebody. That's the truth. Somebody wanted him to be champ. I don't know who it was, but somebody wanted him. But I don't believe he should be. It's not time yet. You don't even build the man up to make him mean something before you throw the damn title on him. But I've got to say it. When you see the title of this, it's going to be a question mark on it because I already got the title set up, but I didn't put a question mark. I'm going to put one now. It just doesn't feel like he's ready for this yet. Particularly that he has no character development. He has nothing. You just threw the North American title on somebody that has no development. I'm not saying Dragon Lee was great, but at least he's been going between the main roster and NXT. We know how he is. He talks okay. He's working LWO. At least you know what you're dealing with. But this is what we got, and this is just me. Peace. And I hope you can hear me.